everyone. This is Anto Chávez again. We're really close to the election. So today we're talking to Yvanna Cancela, who's a Nevada senator and also a senior advisor to the Biden and Harris campaign. So this will be, again, the last answers or almost the last answers that you all are getting from this series of IG Lives with staffers, Latina staffers who are trying to get you really informed so you can make the right decision and make history this election. So let's get started. She should be joining very soon.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. Where
Thank
are
you.
you right now?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm in my condo, and I really appreciate your patience as I figured this out. I'm an Instagram light user. I mostly end up on Instagram to like watch fitness videos and distracting type things. So I appreciate you helping walk me through this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you made it here and I'm glad we figured it out.
Yeah, me too.
So let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us who you are and what you do, especially right now with the campaign?
Yeah, I'm Yvanna Cancela. I'm a senior advisor on the Biden-Harris campaign here in Nevada, and I also serve as a state senator, and I was the first Nevada elected official to endorse Joe Biden when he decided to run for president all the way back in April of 2019.
So what is exactly your role right now in the campaign? What does your day-to-day look like? If there's any routine, I mean, I'm sure it's kind of crazy, especially so close to it, but can you share with us what are your duties?
Yeah, Nevada has 2 weeks of early voting, which is awesome. And it means that for these last 2 weeks, every day is election day for us. So my job has been not only doing the Zoom meetings and work of being in contact with our campaign and doing the planning and work necessary to make sure that the wheels stay in motion, but also attending and participating in a number of get out the vote events and helping to make sure that people know that now's the time, that there's no reason to wait, that they can go turn in their ballot now and that they can go vote today. So it's from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. most days. No 2 days look the same, but they're full with voter contact, with staff contact, and with making sure that we're ready to win the day the next day.
So what would you say, there's a lot of people who may be undecided right now still, or maybe they're not informed enough, maybe they think their vote doesn't matter. What would you say to them? What's at stake? Why is it important for them to vote?
Everything is at stake. Whether you care about climate change or women's rights, immigrant rights, workers' rights, whatever it is that when you hear news about gets your heart racing and makes you want to yell at the TV or at your phone, it's on the ballot. And it can go one direction or in a totally opposite direction. And what we've seen is the last 4 years, all of the issues that we'd made progress on as a country under the Obama administration have been taken backwards. And we should continue to make progress. And we have an opportunity to do so. We also have an opportunity to end up in what could be a really scary place after another 4 years of Donald Trump. So whatever issue it is that you care about, if you're still undecided, you should read about where candidates are on those issues. Go to joebiden.com. See the work he wants to do on everything from Native American rights to paid sick leave, and make sure that you go to the ballot box informed. But do not give away your power and not vote, because it'd be a mistake.
Yeah. And so especially now, I want to recognize that it's Latina Equal Pay Day. Yeah. And so how is it gonna, that process of, having equal pay gonna look like if Joe Biden is elected?
Well, let's just acknowledge that it's BS that in 2020, Latinos are making 53 cents to the dollar on their white male counterparts. It's BS. It's wrong. It's wrong. Um, and what we have an opportunity to do is have a president who understands that that's wrong and that wants to fight for an economy where women generally, but especially Latina women, have opportunities, whether it's in training at community colleges so that we can get the skills we need to open our own small businesses, or in having a small business centered economy where there's access to capital, because that's oftentimes the biggest problem is that we want to start our own business. We want to open up our own Zumba studio, for example, whatever it is that you dream about. But the startup money isn't necessarily available. And then it's making sure that we have workplace rights. We should be able to know what our male counterparts are making. We should be able to organize into unions so that we can access and stay in the middle class. There's a comprehensive set of policies that need to change so that Latinas are at the very least in equal footing to their white male counterparts.
Right. I absolutely agree. And I would also love to ask you, because I ask every Latina staffer and how we've heard from all of them, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be in a campaign. So what motivated you to join this one?
So I've been in politics for most of my adult life. I've worked in politics for the last 10 and a half years. And I was really angry in 2016. I thought my life was going to go in a totally different direction. On a personal level, I was ready to change jobs, make big changes in my life because I thought Hillary Clinton would be president. And when that didn't happen, it was on a personal level hard because it meant recalibrating my plans, but also thinking about what that meant for our country. And then seeing it happen every single day. Every single day, it's like it gets worse and worse and worse. So I wasn't going to sit on the sidelines this election, and there was no job too big or too small that I would take on. Whether it was going to be knocking on doors every day, making phone calls, or working in the capacity I am now, I knew I had to be in the fight because I want things to be better. And I believe things can be better. And I believe in Joe Biden. I believe in Kamala Harris. And that's what gets me out of bed every morning, is that things can be better. They don't have to be this bad. I don't have to feel this anxiety every time I open up my Twitter feed to know, the president tweeted something worse today than he did yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good motivation and inspiration to go on and do something about it. And this is a great way to do it. So I think I also want to ask, because all Latina staffers in the campaign, I'm sure, are on the ground talking to people, but you must be even more because you're a state senator. So what do you think are the top concerns of your constituents and just the people in Nevada who are also part of the Latinx community?
Nevada's been hit harder by the pandemic than maybe anywhere else. Not necessarily in terms of caseloads, but in terms of the economic hit. We are a mostly single source economy. About close to 50% of all of our state's operating tax dollars come from the gaming and hospitality industry. So when we had to shut down the Strip for a month because it was the right thing to do, because it's how we kept Nevadans safe, that also meant that people who had jobs, good, steady, stable jobs for a long time, were suddenly out of work, and that the economy coming back, even now that the Strip is mostly reopened, is going to take a long time. So when I talk to voters, they're concerned about the lack of a plan in handling the pandemic, the fact that the federal government kind of left us high and dry as a state and left each state to fight for itself. They're concerned about when they're going to go back to work, how they're going to go back to work, what the economy is going to look like. Because as the rest of the country gets better and gets back on its feet, Nevada still waits for people who are starting to get back on their feet to be able to get to a good place to be able to travel again. And we rely on the rest of the country being able to visit and travel for our economy to really be moving at the a million miles per hour kind of thing. So both of those things are top of mind generally for voters, but especially for Latinos, who are one of the largest groups working across the hospitality industry. And it's really important that they have access to those jobs again in a safe way, and that their families aren't being put at risk because their mom is going to work as a housekeeper at a major casino. So I hear about both of those things almost every day.
Wow. That must be really tough, but I'm glad, there is a way out. And we are so close to seeing the results of November 3rd. So what are your expectations for that day?
Well, I'm going to wake up very early, assuming I've slept the night before. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to sleep. It's going to be like the night before Christmas when you're a little kid, except different, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be out knocking on doors all day. I'm going to be calling voters. I'm going to be texting voters, and then I'm going to wait for results. And if we have results that night, great. If not, I know it's because our county registrars and all of the public servants who are running our elections are doing their job and making sure that ballots are properly counted. But I'm going to leave it all on the field. And I would encourage everybody else to do the same, to do as much as you can until election day and then on election day, because I want to wake up on November 4th, probably a little tired, maybe a little hungover, but feeling like I did everything I could to fight for our country.
Yeah. And so how would you say people can help and get involved now that we are days away from that?
Well, the most important thing is to vote. So if you visit iwillvote.com, no matter where you live, you can find the information for how to vote in your state. iwillvote.com. That's the most basic, most important thing you can do is casting your ballot. And once you've voted, go home or sit in your car and call 3 people who you know. Call 3 friends, call family members, and tell them to go to iwillvote.com and make sure they voted. It's the best way to move people to action is when someone they know reaches out and says, hey, you got to do this thing. Yeah. Second is you can visit joebiden.com and find ways to volunteer in your state. Every state has Democratic Party operations up and running where you can text, you can call, you can go knock on doors, you can go leave literature on doors, and it's a great way to get involved in your community. So both of those things you should absolutely do. And if you're here in Nevada, we would love to welcome you to the team and make sure you get involved this weekend.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Yvanna. I really appreciate your time and this conversation. Everybody who's watching and who will watch this, because it'll stay on our page, send it to your friends and family. This is how they'll know how important their vote is and what they can do to help get the election results that many of us want. So definitely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.